Hello and welcome to the Art Class Curator podcast. I am Cindy Ingram, your host and the founder of Art Class Curator and the Curated Connections Library. We're here to talk about teaching art with purpose and inspiration, from the daily delights of creativity to the messy mishaps that come with being a teacher. Whether you're driving home from school or cleaning up your classroom for the 15th time today, take a second, take a deep breath, relax those shoulders, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Art Class Curator podcast, soon to be the You Need Art podcast, starting in January. Today's episode is a part 2 to my episode last week with Madalyn Gregory. We started to talk about the art of Naudline Pierre, who is an artist out of Brooklyn. And we had the amazing pleasure of seeing her exhibit at the Dallas Museum of Art, and we were both just completely blown away by the whole exhibit and all of her paintings. So we ended up talking for an hour and a half about our experience with her art, and this is the second half of that conversation. So here is part 2 of my conversation with Madalyn Gregory about the artwork of Naudline Pierre.
I've just realized something that I realized whenever we were in front of this painting, and then I forgot, and now I've just seen it again.
Okay.
There are not 4 angels, there are 5.
Okay.
So there's the one in the blue-green, there's the brown-bodied one, the red one, the one that
I see it.
The face, and then the 5th one coming in under her left arm, under the wings of the other ones. And then once you see his face, you see which wing is his. And it's funny, I'm saying his, but they really do all give off different levels of masculine and feminine energy to me, and different emotions.
Each one, you only see little snippets of their face, but each one has a totally different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
This one that looks like her that I mentioned, has this very sort of calm and loving look to it. Mm-hmm. But the red one, you don't even see the face at all, but it looks more strong and fierce to me. Even it must be the red.
Well, to me, the blue-green one almost looks childlike.
Yeah.
And then the one kind of at the center that we just see the face almost is more aggression.
Yeah.
Or good anger. And I see the same meditative, peaceful thing happening with the one that they have the same haircut. The red one, to me, it almost looks obviously there's nudity already. You're not showing this to the kids, but it looks sensual. It looks like desire to me. Especially whenever I zoom in on the little sliver of face that we can see. And then the one that's mostly hidden is just there's an intensity there, and it almost reminds me of a reprimanding teacher, but a teacher that you're gonna walk away you hurt me, but you were good for me. I learned things, and just a very intense.
That one looks really much to me like the one that is taking the most responsibility for catching this person. Mm-hmm. They're at the bottom, their wings right under, they're right close to the main figure, and then very focused.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch a softball. This is thrown my way. I'm watching it really carefully, and I'm going to keep staring at that ball until I catch it.
Yeah, it reminds me now of what you were talking about with you're wanting to control.
Yeah.
Things. That's what I feel from that one.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love this painting.
Me too. I left that exhibit. I was I didn't want to leave, and I wanted all of them in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to stop looking at them.
I feel I don't know if we're too late or too into it, but I do still want to talk about the other one that we felt like was
I think we can.
there. Okay.
Yeah, the one that like, oh, wait, before we do that, I want to.
Okay.
I Googled this at the very beginning, but I knew I wanted to wait till we talked about it first. But this title is Lest We Fall. And I was like, that sounds significant. So I Googled it. And it is a Bible quote. So here it is. It's a 1 Corinthians 10:12. And it says, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
That's yeah. I mean, that I think speaks to the surrender component. But also that is interesting to me because it sounds like a warning. Like, don't be too prideful. Don't get too up on your high horse. But then also, I mean, to err is to be human. And like, we're all going to do that. So like, what do you do with it? And I think, her surrendering to it and, even regardless of if she feels them or not, there's a community aspect to this. And I think leaning into that and, both accepting your flaws and, being aware enough of them to work on it.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that here.
Yeah, I don't like this Bible quote at all. Like, there's something triggering in it. Like, it is like, I mean, okay. It's kind of the antithesis of like how I want to live my life. Of he who thinks I'm going to take off the thinketh and standeth because I can't handle that anymore.
Fair enough.
He who thinks he stands, take heed lest he falls. So it's like, oh, don't get too comfortable being happy because you're gonna it's all gonna be taken from you. And I think I lived my whole life like that. Like there used to be you'll remember this. I mean, the joke is probably still made, but like anytime one of our friends would be going home, if they didn't say they're home, in my head, they got in a car wreck and died. Like there was always this feeling in my life that something terrible was about to happen. And I have been spending the last 3 years of my life trying to get myself to not do that anymore because it's not healthy. And I don't think it's a healthy mindset. And so like, that's what it gives me. That's what this quote gives me is this like, I don't know.
It's interesting because I can see, I can see a way to read that as like truly like it means well and like be aware and take care of your stuff and, all that. But yeah, I see that other side too, like what you're talking about. But I almost feel like you said, I feel like the art is almost the antithesis of that. It's like, yes, like, yeah, I fell, but I am going to rise again. And that is, I mean, that's why try again is such a powerful thing. I mean, I think there is wisdom in realizing that you will fall and, being prepared for that. But yeah, it can be taken too far and it can be an anxious thing and it can be a reason that you aren't living your life. But I think, with the right mindset, you can almost take it as an invitation to make that leap anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're of course not reading this quote in context. So who knows? 1 Corinthians 0 or 1 through 9 and 13 plus, we will surely provide some information. But I also think that the quote also reminds me of like that feeling of you can't be too proud of the things that you've achieved. You can't be too like we're taught to sort of downplay our strengths. And so it feels icky to me too, from that perspective. But the painting itself, like is like, yeah, you're going to fall and you're going to be okay because you're taken care of. So I think that's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a poetry to it too. Like the lest we fall, like of course we're going to fall. Like, and the we there too. I mean, it makes it not just about her. It makes it about all of them.
And so, yeah. Her title is Lest You Fall.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because that does frame it to me in that she doesn't know that they're there. But also, like, now I'm thinking of Dear Evan Hansen and You Will Be Found. It's like you will be caught.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's look at the next one. And it's called Hold On, Hold Tight. And also made in 2019. And surely they are related because, so in this one, we have our main character again is there. And they are being cradled and held by an angel who is like a dark black and navy blue, like shadow. You see a little bit of their face, but not a lot. The main figure almost looks like they're glowing, like they're like one of those glow worms from like my daughter had when she was a baby.
Yeah, it's almost like a coal fire. Yeah.
And there's like rays coming off of their face too onto like the black angel. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other angels.
1, 2, 3,
7
4,
total.
5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 7 angels. There's another. Yeah. Okay.
7 angels and then 1. Yes. There's 8 figures total.
Yes.
I'm looking for hidden ones though, because last time there was a hidden one.
Where are they?
In the same instance of the last one, we have like the little stars in the sky, and then we have the little flame drawings at the bottom. But this time they're just kind of drawn with blue, like a light blue. And then all of the angels, except for 2 of them, are kind of crowded. They're all crowded around our main character. And then they're all kind of looking down at her. And they're all kind of got their arms out, like it's like a group hug. And then everybody's looking at her. But then there's like some ones on the side that they're not necessarily. But they all have the kind of like concerned / loving looks on their faces. Mm-hmm. They have a little bit more expression on their faces in this one than they did in the other one. We see more of their faces. Mm-hmm. And they're the same. They've got the big wings and human legs and human bodies mostly. And then they have these like some of them have this like feather texture on them. And then the background is just a purplish, darkish gray.
There's a feeling of like, the shadows that campfire light will throw. Like, I feel like she's like a campfire because just the way that the paint and the shadows it has that feeling to me.
Yeah, like she's the light source.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly. But the only thing that throws me off of that is the little like light purple angel at the top. She's got a globe behind her.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't, because it's so like tight to her wings, like I do feel like that's like part of her glow, the angel's glow.
Yeah. I guess when I look at all of them, most of them have their wings are glowing.
Yeah. This one. They have a bright outline. Almost.
And there's some sort of structure, like a fence or a building. Do you see that? No, that's a wing. That's a wing.
Yeah, I think that's one. Yeah, one of the angels is like hugging almost. Yeah. At least a few of them. Not everybody, though. Oh, yeah. I think I stood in front of this one the longest.
Yeah, and so our main character is in like a fetal position. She looks really comfortable and cozy and like warm and supported and loved.
Yeah, to me, maybe it's because of the fetal position, but I think, I don't know, something about it too just makes me feel like, I guess it makes sense if this is part 2 from the other one, but it feels like she has been injured. Like she's really been put through the ringer. Like we're waiting for that coal fire in her to like burn out a little bit and cool down, and like she looks almost injured to me, and like so there's like comfort there, but like there's still like it's weird because it's such warm colors, but I almost like feel her like shivering like into the embrace and like needing to be.
Yeah, like she does look really comfortable to me, but at the same time, she looks like how I would feel if I were to cry for the next 8 hours and then cry so much that all my tears were gone. And then I was so tired and all I could do was just lay there in bed, like curled up, laying there in bed, watching some like really comforting TV show or something, like just laying there in that state of like relief and catharsis. But at the same time, like you're still in a lot of pain, but you're just like, it's that after effects. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to be her right now because she clearly has gone through some stuff. It's so funny how I can like feel that from her, but it's like, what is it that's making me feel that way?
And even like you said, there's like light, like literally like rays of light shining off of her face. Like that feels like it should be, I don't know, powerful or like mystical or like, but it just, okay. Because she seems so vulnerable right now, I'm almost like, and because of what we've already talked about, it's like, is like that her inner child or like her truest self or like something like shining through that, and we aren't allowed to see it. Like we can just barely like see maybe a little bit of like her eyebrow and maybe a little bit of lash, but that's it. We don't get like, this is, something private and like, but they're all well, not all of them, but several of them are gazing upon it and like it feels like, yes, she is rubbed raw by whatever has happened, but also she is completely and totally loved and accepted by these people. And I mean, that's the dream relationship, right?
Yeah, that's huge. It makes me think about that Marianne Williamson quote, and I'm trying to find it, but my internet's going real slow. Okay, it says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous?" And then it goes on, which I'm sure you've heard that a million times. But I know that, like, similar to what we've already talked about, like that feeling of, like I was saying earlier, not allowed to be too proud of your accomplishments or too whatever. But it's like, I know me personally have always been afraid to shine too brightly or stand out too much, or like there's this in entrepreneur circles, like we talk about this like fear of success, that there is something that like blocks us from really truly stepping into like what we're capable of because of that like fear of othering ourselves, I guess, maybe. And I'm sure that shows another, that that's my field, so that's what I know about. But I can kind of see that like maybe her falling was the big risk that she took, and then she is scared or exhausted or something from taking too big of a chance, like it was too much. So now she needs to rest for a while before she goes back out and lets it shine a little more. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I can totally see that. And it's interesting because like the background is like black mostly, but it's like a smoky, it's not as dark as like the flames of the last one. And I don't know, well, you were talking about the like accomplishments and really stepping into our strengths and all of that. And that's like, okay, I feel that really deeply. And I know that struggle. But I also feel like so much of who we are and how we present ourselves to the world is like wrapped up in these things that are both like superficial and not. Like, even though, I think I tried to hide it or deny it, and I still do, but like I was the straight A student in school that like the all teacher's pet, and like like, and I was that person proudly.
Mm-hmm.
And, to a certain extent that defined me. And like, I feel like there's a struggle between wanting to be seen for your accomplishments and for your actions and for who you are in the world and how you move through the world, but also like not wanting those things to be all that defines you.
Yeah.
Like there was a long time where like all the gifts I got from people were like, it was like all
Doctor
Harry
Who.
Potter. Yeah, like it was all Harry Potter stuff. And then it was all Doctor Who stuff. And like I loved those things and I still have a lot of them. But like, like that kind of like we never fully see each other. Like it's not even possible, I don't think, for us to fully see each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what draws me to this artwork is like I feel like she is being fully seen.
Yes. Yeah,
And
it's like very much like she is allowed to be who she is in all of her pain and all of her everything. And she is loved and seen and understood.
yeah. But even then, does everybody there see and love and understand her? Because, okay, we've got, I mean, the fully black angel that we can't really see the face, is cradling her. So certainly seems to be focused on her. And so are, four of the others. But the other two,
Yeah.
there's one at the bottom right corner of the painting that is like sitting on the ground and is like looking away from her. Is like the head is turned, and I can't tell if I feel like the look on her face is like mournful of like sad that she had to go through what she went through, or if she's like not happy that this moment is happening.
Yeah. I zoomed
like,
way in on her just now so I could really get a sense.
Like part of me almost feels like she feels neglected by
Ooh.
like maybe she wants to be the one who or needs to be the one that is being cared for and is not.
Ooh. So is that the plight of an angel? Like it's like a mother. You're like parenting, like you care for everybody else, but no one cares for you. Like that feeling that you kind of have sometimes when you're handling everything as a mom.
Yeah. I mean, completely.
And she does. She looks really like sad, melancholy look when I zoomed way in. Like there is sadness I can see.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she is separate from the moment that is happening.
Yeah. She's sitting. Huh.
Like, I feel like that could be, a complex mix of like, yes, of course she needs to be taken care of, but, also me.
Also, too, though, what if this again is all of the parts of her and all the angels are the different parts of her? Like, what if that's like the part of her that was getting left behind with this fall, or like the part of her that, I don't know, like the parts of you that you sort of move on from and that you don't recognize anymore as parts of who you are. Like the part of me that like used to think everybody died in car wrecks anytime they left my sight. I don't know.
Or maybe just, I think everybody has that, maybe it doesn't look the same on everybody, but the part of us that's petulant or stubborn or just cannot be pleased or doesn't want to be touched.
Yeah.
Like maybe, yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, I don't think I would want 5 people hovering around me like that. That sounds horrifying.
Touch is not your love language.
No, it's not. I don't like. Maybe that's why I don't want to be her in this situation. Not because she's been crying, just because there's too many people touching her.
Well, and then there's the other one that's kind of outside of our little circle of love. And her expression is much more unreadable. She's like behind everybody else and is also like kneeling or sitting on the ground. You don't really see her body, just her face and wing. And
yeah, she's the same color as the background too, so it's like she sort of blends in.
It makes me like, she almost looks like she's fading away.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's, if she's a separate angel and not part of her, then that makes me feel like maybe she is no longer needed. And so she's like, her job there is done. But if she is a part of her, I mean, I think the same thing can be true, because she is equally like, like you said, there are parts of yourself that come to a point where they no longer serve you. And if you can let those go, I mean, we're so many different people over our lives. So many different versions of ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, I just love looking at this so much. I just can't even, like, the color of her body is like giving me so much life. That's all all I can handle is how beautiful it is. Oh, but the colors are so like jarring, and like they don't go together.
Yeah,
like,
they don't feel like they belong in the same painting together.
There's like this green with the red over the top of it, and there's like this light purple. Like these colors clash in such crazy ways, but I'm not mad about it at all. Like it's so like it adds to it. Oh,
there's also like these little like touches. They're not in the same shade of blue, but like over the black angel's head, there's like this star with like extra light maybe shooting out of it. It almost looks like, like the depiction of the North Star.
Yeah.
Old maps and stuff. And then there's in the bottom left corner, again, kind of like our bird, and the other one, there's a touch of blue, but it's a flame this time. It's the outline of a flame. And like the balance of that is interesting, but it clashes with everything. Like it doesn't, even the style of it doesn't feel, it almost feels like another place like encroaching on this like safe space that she's in. Like, I don't know, it feels like, okay, we can stay here, but only for so long before we're completely, consumed by flame. Or like it's just like you said, like if this is like a rest period for her, if this is a recharging period, like there is, the siren song to stay in that for too long.
Yeah. And after, this is not related to what you said, but it was related and adjacently, but about how the blue didn't necessarily like looks like a different thing. When I saw this exhibit, I had like a really strong desire to go home and paint, like, because it felt these paintings feel so free. They feel like they break all the rules. I feel like I could go paint anything I wanted, like it doesn't matter if the color, you wouldn't put that color typically next to that color, or like, it just feels like, I don't know, like they were so big and painterly and bright and bold. And that's the kind of thing I like to paint too, is big and bright and bold. And so I was just like, I need to go home and paint. And I didn't go home and paint, but I should have. Now I'm wanting to paint again. So maybe that's what I'll do this afternoon. It's like, I'm having that urge again while talking about the way she painted it. Cause it's just so free and so loose. And so, but like just enough detail.
There's so many, like, I know next to nothing about painting. But like, it feels like there's so many styles and so many techniques like represented, and just to put them all together in a way that feels right, even though, it breaks so many of the rules. Like it really is, it's enchanting, and it's Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
like it hits all of the boxes of art that I love, which is like bold and colorful, big characters that I can relate to, that I can find emotion in. So emotional. And then I love an artwork that like looks familiar. And this is not familiar, but it's like, this is new. It's different. I've never seen this before, but it still looks familiar. Like it looks like the Baroque aspects of it. There's one that was they actually put it with the medieval paintings because it has such a medieval feel to it. Like it has that like familiarity to it. And I love an artwork with like a really complex story that you can pick apart. So it's like, yeah, everything I love about art is in this painting.
Okay, so I feel like we should go back to the question that the exhibit asked.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let me go back to it and read it. But I think that we have been talking for over an hour.
I think we have too. I feel like this is a good, like, I feel like the reason I want to ask this question is because one thing we usually end up saying in these conversations is like, what is this calling you to do?
Right. Okay.
And I feel like this question is another way of asking that question.
Okay, so let's repeat the question again. What is it to be expansive, to be multiple, to be contradictory, to live in the fullness of possibility? I want to write that on the wall.
I know, right? Like, yeah, put it on there. And yeah, I feel like I almost forgot all the words that were used. And now that I have them again, I'm like, yes, this connects so perfectly to everything that we were talking about. Because, yeah, like to be expansive, to take up your space and to take up your power and to be multiple, because we're not just one version of ourselves. We are many things. And they contradict each other. Wasn't it Walt Whitman? What did he say? I contain multitudes, you know? And man, to live in the fullness of possibility, I mean, that's that leap. That's the faith. It's the trust fall. It's the, you know, and yeah, and the name of the exhibit again, what could be has not yet appeared. Like, that's so hopeful to me because yeah, I remember whenever we were on the first well, it wasn't the first, but the first art class curator trip that I went on, and we were talking to, you know, the ones that were younger than us, and they were like, "Ugh, getting older," and we were like, "No, it's better. Just wait. Like, what could be has not yet appeared. Like, you are going to be better. You're going to be fuller. You're going to be more yourself. You're going to have more depth and understanding. And like I feel called to just like, I am in a period of great change in my life. And I am like so excited about what is coming and what can be, and the heartbreak and the love and the journey and the adventures, and I want it all. The fullness.
And I will be your little angel to catch you if you fall.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited to watch this, be a part of it. Yeah, it's such a good thing. Like, because what really resonates with me from that quote is the, like, to be multiple, to be contradictory. Like, I have always had this sort of black or white thinking, like, this is right, this is wrong. Like, and I've been trying to accept that it's not the way the world is. There is layers, and there's layer, and you know, there's not black or white. There's not just gray. There's like every color. You know, like it's not just even a spectrum of black to white. It's up and down and left and right and all over. And I struggle with things like, well, how can I be as much of a lover and supporter of science as I am, but also still be spiritual? And how can I be this and that and this and that? And like in my head, I'm like, well, you can only be one or the other because they're contradictory. It doesn't work. But you can be a contradiction. And I think I still am learning that lesson every day, that is okay. And this is me, like, I'm constantly like, these external forces. We weren't talking about that. We were talking about this on More Wonder, Please. So I'm acting like we just talked about this. It was not this podcast. Go back and listen to that one. But like, I have all these feelings of like guilt all the time about expectations that don't even exist of me. And it feels really exciting to fully try to embody this question of what is it to be expansive, to be multiple, to be contradictory, to live in the fullness of possibility. That feels really exciting to me too.
Yeah. To be, just open to whatever life brings. And the surrender.
Surrender again.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay. That was great conversation. about Naudline.
That was fun.
About Naudline Pierre. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoy listening to it as well. But yeah, I hope this encourages you listening to go out and look at some art for yourself, because you need art. And that is the name of this podcast now. So thank you so much for joining me again today, Madalyn.
Always.
And thank you all for listening. And we will see you again another day.
Bye.
Have you learned all the lessons art has to teach you? Of course not. Art always has something more to teach us about ourselves, about the world, about where we've been and where we're going. Art is more than a creative outlet. It's a powerful tool that can teach you about yourself and help you recognize your path in life. If you want to learn life lessons through art, I invite you to join our Art Connection Circle. In the circle, you'll learn how to find your truest self by looking at art and connecting with a community of passionate, thoughtful individuals. Together, we explore the human condition and find answers to our heart's deepest questions inside of brushstrokes, captured in photographs and in conversations with one another. Learn more about what the Art Connection Circle has to offer you and how to join at artclasscurator.com/circle.